Hello, hello, hello you guys, and welcome back to my kitchen. Alright, tonight we're making simple pork roast with veggies, so then we can take all the vegetables and the potatoes and mash them together and make a potato and gravy out of all that. Yeah, you'll see. Alright, so let's get to this. First, you can use fresh. I have frozen. I always do that. I believe I have a video. I don't know which playlist to find it in, but I know it is on my channel. Search my channel for slicing and freezing peppers. And then, oh, by the way, this is my grandma's recipe. She always made it pork roast with veggies because it was simple. It was potatoes and then whatever vegetables you have on hand. About 3 to 4 pounds of diced potatoes. And then I have home canned green beans. I have home canned carrots. I have store-bought canned Kirkland sweet corn. Yes, juice and all of it right into the bottom because we'll turn the juice into gravy for the meat and the mashed potatoes that we make out of all the vegetables. Corn, and then I have rutabagas. My grandma always had rutabagas. She bought rutabagas by the dozen, and I like rutabagas. So once we get to the farm, I'm going to start growing my own rutabagas, but for now, I buy my rutabagas just like my grandma did. Then, my pork roast. As little blood as possible. I drain it into a bowl so I don't have to worry about blood. Boom! Hold on, let me wash my hands. Alright guys, whenever you touch raw meat, you always wash your hands immediately before you keep proceeding with cooking process. Alright, the number one thing about my grandma was she loved simple spices. Pepper, always pepper first against the skin. I don't know why, but that's what she always told me. Pepper against the skin. Garlic powder. My grandma and my mom always used the phrase one pass of pepper, 1 pass of garlic powder, and then a small pass of applewood smoked sea salt. My grandma always splurged on it. I do too. It's well worth the money. The reason I did 2 passes is because my passes were very small pinches. And then my grandma's 2 favorite Italian spices, parsley and basil. These were her 5 core spices. Salt, pepper, garlic powder, parsley and basil. And then I just put my lid on it. Throw it in the oven on 350 for 2.5 to 3 hours. We will come back and I will slice it halfway through the cooking process to help make sure that all the meat is cooked and to check on how long it needs to go. 350, 2.5 to 3 hours. Alright, now after it's all done cooking in the oven, you tilt the pan and remove 3/4 of the juice and put it in a heavy bottom stock pot or noodle pot, whatever, kettle, whatever. turn it on medium-high and bring it up to a nice, gentle boil. And then make a cornstarch slurry. Cornstarch slurry is 2 tablespoons cornstarch, 4 tablespoons water. Mix it. If it's still a little too thick, because you don't want it like dough, you want it like a very, very thick, super, super thick gravy. And you add 1 teaspoon at a time until you get it to that thick gravy. But you always start with cornstarch. Add the water. Okay. Bring it up to a rolling boil and then just gently, at the same time that you're whisking, slowly pour the cornstarch slurry in. Most of the time you don't have to pour it all in, but you'll get to the point where you'll start to see it really thicken up, or noticeably thicken up. And that's when you stop adding the cornstarch and let it boil till it is thick. See how you're starting to notice it get thicker? So just a little bit more. And always be whisking it at the same time that you're adding your cornstarch slurry or even your potato starch slurry. There we go. Stop mixing, let it boil. See how it's getting nice and thick? Depending upon how thick you want your gravy, you can stop whenever. We like it a little bit thicker, so I'll just boil it a little bit longer. And only stop stirring for a few seconds, every few seconds, so that it doesn't burn on the bottom. If you boil too long, you boil too much, you can get it too thick and start to actually harden it up and cause icky, gross, icky. Never pour and dump all of the cornstarch slurry in at the same time. It'll clump and get icky. There you go, gravy. This is how you can boil it a little bit longer than this and get it even thicker, but we like a semi-thick, semi-thin gravy. So, let it boil for a second. Turn it off. And then I'm going to dish up all my vegetables and my meat. Well, I'll bring you back for what we're doing. Okay, next part. You take the vegetable and the meat, and you pull the meat out and put it off to the side. And this is a great part for the kids, and this is one of the #1 parts I remember from when I was a kid. Just take and put 1/2 cup to 3/4 of a cup. My grandma always used a stick to a stick and a half of butter on top of the vegetables. Lid back on and let it sit for about 5 minutes. And then you bring the kids back when all that butter is melted, and you hand them a potato masher and you let them go to town, and voila! You got mashed vegetables, and then you top it with whatever kind of toppings you want to top those vegetables with. Gravy, sour cream, cheese, whatever, and eat it, enjoy it. And then, well, obviously pork, and then if you want any kind of topping on top of your pork for dipping, in my house we call it dippa sauce. So, alright, we'll be back to show you something. Nope. over the whole thing, and don't make it just liquidy. Make it nice and chunky. So press all the way down. No, push all the way down. There you go. There we go. After 3 hours in the oven in a roasting pan, the pork loins that you cut down into steaks now pull apart and shred with 2 forks for little ones and young ones, and then a pile of mashed potatoes and mashed vegetables, and then you top it with anything you want, or you give them dippa for any meat that they want. My son doesn't like anything, he just wants this. And then he wants ketchup in a little cup on the side for him to dip his meat in. That is all. My daughter likes gravy on her meat and on half her potatoes. Sour cream on half her potatoes, and then she takes a bite full of all. My husband likes gravy over everything, and I like mine like my daughter. You can make it any way you want. Alright everyone, we'll see you in the next one. And remember, stay positive. Bye!